What's going on, guys? Bonafide Hustler here, and today we have an all-star hangout. Welcome to the Green Room Hangout of the night. Thank you for spending the next hour with us. But today we're going to be talking about making huge profits selling on Amazon, and we have the best of the best from the Green Room University sitting right here. So anyways, I'm not going to bore you guys with my intro. If you're here on my channel watching this video, you probably know exactly who I am. But I want to get right to my guests because I think that's the right thing to do. So I'm going to introduce the people on the show, the people on the panel. We have Craig Morris. What's up?
Hi, how's it going?
All right, we have Jameson.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We have Jason Clark.
Hey, guys, what's up, Green Room?
All right, and we have Mr. Cleater. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
All right, so there's the all-star panel. They all sell varying amounts on Amazon through FBA, and they've been in the Green Room. A lot of them have been for quite a long time. So some are OGs, some aren't, but we could all say that are in the Green Room, we can all say that we've watched and witnessed these people go from basically selling on Amazon FBA to becoming basically huge power sellers on Amazon FBA. So today we're going to be talking about the tips and the tricks, the struggles, the wins, and what it takes to really run a business on Amazon FBA in order to get to 100K, 500K, 600K, 1 million, 2 million, those kind of numbers. And that's what we're going to be discussing here in this show. And I thought this would be a perfect time to do this because we could have done this a couple weeks ago, but that's when things are going really crazy and everyone's repricing and still trying to get their last shipments out. So now that all the hoopla is done and the fourth quarter is over, we can all reflect back on it, and that's what this show is going to be all about. So if you have any questions, we'll definitely stop and maybe every 20 minutes to ask some audience questions to the panel guests here. I'll start to introduce my first person, which is Craig Morris. Hey, Craig, tell me a little bit about yourself, family structure, and your Amazon FBA numbers for 2017.
All right, well, like I said, I'm Craig. I am a full-time lead pastor at First Baptist Church. I took on that job in June, and I am a part-time reseller on Amazon. And I am married. We have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and we have one on the way due in February, March time frame. And so when we did about $630,000 in sales on Amazon this year, and of that, about 600,000 was August through December. It was basically when we kicked into gear this year.
Okay, cool. And then the people that operated this 600K was you and wifey? Or
me and my wife, and then I had a guy who helped me out. He probably put in maybe about 100 hours for me this week.
Okay, cool. Jameson, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Let's see, pretty much just been on the road, just started to settle down from reselling. I did, what did I do this year? About 630 I did on the year. Pretty much half of it was on the road traveling, and then the other half somewhat was I finally settled down and got a place to live in Minnesota, and kind of been doing a little OA to catch up, and just learning the ropes of doing OA and just trying to do bigger numbers next year with OA and whatnot.
Okay. Single, or are you taken, Jameson? Are you married? Do you have kids? Come on, man. Tell us.
No.
Do you have any kids that you don't know of, or might?
He's like, I can't answer any of these questions. I may have a kid.
Yeah, we can't put that out there. There's no paper trail of that.
In dark corners of the Green Room, there's rumors that Jerry Bailiff is Jameson's kid, but no one knows for sure.
Definitely young enough, right? Okay, so what's going on? Jason Clark, you're the next one on my screen. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. Glad 17's over and back into 18 here. So things are good. Full-time Amazon. My 3-year anniversary is in a couple of days. Did 2.215 million this year. That was almost 200% increase. Really proud of that from last year. And I've got a beautiful 16-year-old daughter. She's I think she works harder than me, so really proud of her. Been in a relationship for about 6 months with a lovely young lady from Canada who is actually a full-time Amazon reseller herself. So there's a lot of good things coming out of that. And just super excited to go into 18 and kick some butt.
Did you have any help doing your stuff in FBA this past year, Jason?
Yes, it's pretty. I think it's almost impossible to get to those numbers without help. So 3 full-timers, 2 part-timer, and 3 on-call. So yeah, plenty of that.
Nice. All right, Jonathan Cleater, what's going on?
Not too much. I'm single. No wife, no kids, no pets. Just me and my beard. We did just shy of 1.9 this year. We did half of that or just shy of half of that during November and December. I have 3 full-timers besides myself, and then I have a part-timer, technically 2 part-timers, although the other part-timer worked a very limited number of hours. But so yeah, I have a warehouse and a couple employees, and just making it up as I go.
Cool. So just you and your beard, huh?
Just me and my beard,
okay,
you know.
Okay, I hear it. It's a pretty strong beard, man. You have a brewery on the side or no?
It's in the works. It's in the works. Either that or some sort of lumberjack something or other.
All right.
I'm making the switch to flannel this year.
Flannels are the best, dude. Okay, so let's talk about the FBA pie real quick. We're going to go right through the panel very quickly. Craig Morris, what does your FBA pie look like? And the answer to this question is going to be like, well, I might have 80% retail arbitrage, 5% wholesale, 15% online arbitrage. So I kind of want to see what the online pie is of the All-Star Green Room lineup right here. So Craig Morris, lead it off.
We were about 95% retail and 5% OA.
Okay, 95 RA, 5% OA. Jameson, what do you got?
I'd probably say 90% RA and maybe roughly 10% OA right now.
Okay, got it. Jason?
93% perspiration, 6% electricity, 4% evaporation, and 2% butterscotch ripple. And if you're keeping track, that's 105%. Willy Wonka, guys, look it up. It's actually 10% wholesale, 10% liquidation, 79% RA, and 1% private label. But we should be putting some good headway into private label this year.
Yeah, because isn't your girlfriend also like a private label kind of person, right?
Yeah, she's about 98% private label.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I have had the pleasure of meeting her at Taco Deli of all places, right? Yeah, brilliant mind you got going there. So it's a complimentary relationship. It's unbelievable.
It has been.
Yeah. So Cleater, what do we got on you with your FBA pie?
I would say I'm probably about 95% retail arbitrage, and then about 5% wholesale.
Okay.
This year I was able to work out a relationship with a retail store to buy directly from their distributor, but I guess that still technically falls in the RA category, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's about 90-90%.
We'll stay with you on this one question. Did each of you guys make or crush your 2017 goals? We'll start with you on that one. So what was your goal when 2016 was wrapping up, you were like, all right, I'm going to do this for 2017. What was that number in your head, Cleater?
I wanted to go past 1.5. Jason wanted me to shoot for 2, so I did not hit 2. That was like he was going to get gated and drawing back, so I guess that's my fault. But yes, I'm at my goal, if not my stretch goal. Doing 900K in November and December was definitely significantly beyond what I was.
That's huge. So I remember those.
I at least finished strong.
Yeah, that was awesome. What about you, Jason? I was kind of sworn that you were always telling me that 2 million was your goal for 2017.
Actually, it was myself, Devin Simon. I think most people in the panel, we had the Green Room show right around Christmas last year, and we all publicly stated goals. I chose 1.5 million, and then I raised it a couple months later to 1.75. Then I raised it again to 2 million, and we were lucky enough to succeed and surpass that by a pretty decent amount. So I'm really happy with that. Cool.
When did you pass your goal of 2 million? Was that in mid-December?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it was around December the 15th, but my strategy was to go into January guns blazing, and we're still doing $10,000 a day right now. So last year when the dip happened after Christmas, I was doing $2,000 a day. I've been, I was doing 12, 14, 15,000 when everybody was tanking out and had no product left. So I wanted to keep the ball rolling really good into January. So that was where the extra couple $100,000 came in that I originally didn't expect to have.
Okay, cool. Jameson, what about you? Was 600 your goal, or did you have more or less?
Yeah, 600 was my goal, and I ended up doing about 629, 630ish. So I just squeaked by. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to hit it this year because it was looking really. Things were not working out. Lovabellas and a bunch of other things just didn't go my way. I ended up saving all of my fingerlings. Like I think I stopped middle September. I started saving them all. And I think I had 150 of them, maybe even more. And they were all selling for $50, $60, $70. And then I waited it out, and I ended up selling them all for around $25 to $34. And so things didn't work out. I actually still have all my Lovabellas left. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I have
You're still holding your Lovabellas?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to lose.
Walmart's about to have them on clearance for $5, bro.
All right, so Jameson, this is kind of like an inside green room joke, but explain the Lovabella thing to the public real quick and why people laugh about it when we're in the green room and we see Lovabella pictures and we all think about you. But what's the funny thing behind Lovabella's, Jameson?
To be honest, I don't know if I'm out of the loop on this one. I don't know if I'm assuming people are just like making fun of me because I probably got stuck with the most amount by far. And I'm probably the only one that didn't make any money on them.
We're not making fun of you because you bought them. We're making fun of you because you kept them. I bought Lovabellas. At one point I had $19,000 in Lovabellas. I saw the end was nigh and got out. And at the end of the day, I think I made overall about $1,000 on them, which is not enough.
That's not enough. Yeah, wow.
I got out.
So help me with this, Jason. You invest $19,000, you make $1,000. How good? What does that see? Is that good in your book, Jason Clark?
Yeah, if you can do it in one day. No,
well, you actually almost do.
Yeah, well, risk. I don't think you can get to 7 figures or more usually without some level of risk. So you got to put your money in play because money in your wallet is making nothing. So you're not going to win 100% of the time, but if you're winning 90% of the time, you will come out way ahead. So take the 1,000 and learn from that and move forward.
All right, so we know that Jameson's worst investment was probably the Lovabella thing, but let's go to CHEDDAR real quick. And this is not on the outline, but what was the worst? You're like, all right, this didn't work out, but majority of everything works out with RA in the fourth quarter. What was one thing particularly like, all right, this didn't work out. I took a loss of 20% or 30% or maybe even 10.
Lovabella was the only thing that I had I revealed publicly that I had a Lego SKU that I was sweating out, but the last week they went profitable and I sold all of them. So the Lovabella, I only made $1,000 on 19, so that was a very low percentage. So Lovabella was the thing I got burned the most on. I had a few things where like I got some returns at the very end, so I didn't make money on the last couple, but the biggest, the Lovabellas were by far my worst buy as well because of that. So
Jason, what about you? Worst buy?
Oh, that's easy. Socks. It was socks. I had actually sent 2 of my guys out to go pick up a SKU at a retail store, and I said pick up about 60 a piece and low risk investment, and they both came back with 70 a piece, and it would have been too much of a pain in the butt to return them and burn on a retail relationship. So we sat on them, and I lost $1 on half of them and $2 on the other half. So I lost a whopping $250 on 132 packs of socks. So not bad at all.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, if I could just jump in real quick. There were some magic wands that did turn out to not all be all that magical. Craig and I they sold really well the first round, the second round, and then Toys R Us was like, let's give these away. And that was the end of that party.
That was it, huh? So Jameson, still the Lovabella, right? That's the worst one so far?
Yeah, Lovabella is definitely the worst one by far.
Okay. Are you still holding or are you done?
I dumped the boy version of the Lovabella. I think I probably lost like $10 on each one of them. And I think I've got around 65-ish of the other ones. And if I sell them now, I think I lose around $30 a doll right now. So I don't know. So I don't think I don't know.
That's a perfect time to have the panel like echo in on it. Craig, what should he do?
I guess the question, I haven't been out for like 2 weeks in terms of knowing what's out there, but it's all about, is it going to rebound or not? Some things we know they go down, they're not coming back, and other things they go down. You got to go with your gut. My gut on those was kind of the same as CHEDDAR's. I'm like, it's a doll. There's nothing particularly special about it. So, we hit it, and we had bought in at some good prices on some of them. So where we probably normally would have been losing money or breaking even, we were actually making a few bucks on the way down on a few of them. But I think the thing is though too, if you were gonna sell, the time to sell was 2 weeks ago, and so now I think because I've done the hold, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Now you're almost like, hey, let's see where March brings us. Let's see what the Easter bump comes. I think that's, and you just pray they're going to discontinue it, and because the demand is there, it's the supply is over.
Yeah.
Jameson, what about the cart of shame? Has that crossed your mind yet?
It has. I'm not a big fan of returning stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it crossed my mind to return. I've never lost, like, I mean, I've lost $30 or $20 or $50 on one item, but I've never had this many where I would lose $30. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if I lose $2,000 on this item, I made well over that in December alone. So it's really not that bad the way I'm looking at it. It's just I'm looking at the one particular item. So I might just wait around and just see. I mean, I don't think I'm going to lose much more. I might lose $10 more a doll, but I mean, that's nothing compared to if I can rebound it back to, if it goes back up to $99, then I will probably break even.
The opposite side is too, like, what can you do with that money? If you sell through now, maybe you take that loss, but can you turn that $30 loss into a $30 profit in 2 weeks? And if you got a way to spend the money to get your money back.
And the risk that they could go on clearance, and you could wind up taking a much more significant bath.
Yeah.
Clearance, Clear and I are going to buy them, and we're going to tank that listing hard.
Yeah, the only reason
I would be back, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'll be back with hundreds of them.
Jason, your professional opinion. Take it now? Take the hit now, or wait?
It's always about the data, Chris. It's always about the data.
Okay, well, we'll just keep telling you, Jameson. I hope you get past the Lovabella thing, and then we can go. And then every time we see a Lovabella, something else goes in our heads in the green room.
I'm sure a couple of years of counseling will get me over it.
I'm not saying this is always true, but if Jonathan Cleater and Craig Morris are not hot on a toy, there's a pretty good chance you should dump it. I'm just throwing out there that between the two of us, we do know our toys pretty well.
I think I say card of shame because I think we've all done it at some point, and it's kind of funny, but like, it's one of those things. I have it's one of those also things like these stores are kind of struggling, right, to stay, even afloat, how many of them, right? And so card of shame is like the ultimate, like, ooh, I just used you, like, all the way through. Like,
I actually saw a guy. I went to Toys R Us in Mississippi the other day, and I saw this guy return about 40 Nintendo Wii Skylander box sets. Like, why he bought them in the first place, I have no idea. He was obviously a beginner because nobody buys Skylanders anymore for the most part, and he had 3 carts full of them, he only got back like $100. Like, so they're the big giant sets, and he must have paid $2 or $3 each for them. And he returned every single one of them. Oh, I took a picture of it and I laughed.
Dang. Okay, so let's talk about the mindset real quick. So we're going to be going through 3 sections real quick: mindset, execution, and reflection. And the mindset's basically like what's going on in your head to get yourself prepared for a big year, or what's going into your head to get yourself prepared for fourth quarter. And so, like, in regards to RA, at what point of the year do you really start to plan out your Q4 strategy? Really quickly, Craig Morris, because you started in August, right?
Yeah, August. We start looking for some discontinued toys around July. There tends to be some good dips, in the summer, June, July, August. But there's stuff that, not going to be on the retail shelves, but we want to I like to diversify by not having everything be just hot new toys. And so July, August, but I would say really I start kind of buying in August and then really start going crazy come September.
Okay, cool. Jameson, when did you start getting really, really serious about it? Like going out, multiple times a day, trying to find stuff, packing in your store with inventory. What was that time frame?
I didn't start until, probably early November. I was in the process of finding a place to live in like September and moving in October and trying to get stuff for my office and set everything up and order all the supplies and learn OA. So I got a really late start on Q4 and just pumping in all the inventory. Okay.
Jason Clark, I know you prepped. You're like a doomsday prepper. So you were really getting your ducks in a row quickly, huh?
I was. I started in January. No, I'm serious. I knew you'd laugh. Think about it, guys. Have a business plan for 2018. This is the perfect week to do it. So have a soft plan for your Q4, a general idea of what comes to August, September, and so on and so forth. So when you get to the August, you have an idea. You've got your credit line. You've got your capital line. You're prepared since January to build that hard plan and then start shopping in late August or September. And then obviously that's when you go hard with implementing the plan. So the soft plan starts in January, which is your business plan. You guys are in business, make a business plan.
Yeah. Cleater, talking about a soft plan, but then how do you know, Cleater, like when you were starting to prep for your Q4, which I would assume is somewhere in August and September, how can you start speculating about a hot toy then, and how deep do you go into it? A couple thousand on this one, a couple thousand on that one. Like, how do you kind of dictate and predict what might be the big thing?
I start planning for the next Q4 during Q4 because I'm always like, crap, I should do this better next year. I could learn from this mistake. So for me at this point, it's less about am I going to crush Q4 because I know that's going to be a given, and more about efficiency. Like my entire model is built on bulk, so it's having the ability to spend huge amounts of money in a short period of time. I moved warehouses in September to move to a bigger place for Q4 because never moving Q4 ever. Like October, November, December, you never want to have anything in your personal life or your business life that's going to be drama. Try to wait if you can. But and then in October, we try to I had people spending multiple hours in the stores learning what toys were there, what was selling, what Amazon was on, what they weren't on, and then I started speculative buying in October. And yeah, just kind of went from there.
Okay, cool. Did the speculative buying start with Legos, or did it pepper out to just actual stuff like dolls, or?
There were a lot of things. Well, I mean, I can reveal. I mean, like there were things that, like, I bought Hatchimal 12 packs. This is what I say all the time. The way I make my money is not knowing the hot products. Jameson knows toys far better than I ever will. The way I make my money is efficiencies and buying at the right price point. So I've built my entire team around, when you found out about a deal and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a great deal. I wish I was at work and could rent a U-Haul. Assume that I have 2 U-Hauls, 5 guys, and we've been out since 6 a.m. So yeah, anytime the right product at the right price. But for me, it's more about price than what products, because almost anything. I even made a lot of money on Skylanders this year, but that's because Toys R Us was doing like buy 1 get 4 free. And I bought them on a discount day. So, if you buy anything cheap, almost anything cheap enough, you can make a little bit of money.
Is the Toys R Us discount day the same for the entire nation? Is it Thursday or not? Yes or no?
Yeah, the 10% off is Thursday for the entire nation.
Okay, I was just wondering. So let's talk about potential pitfalls, getting your credit situation ready, manpower needed, vehicles, processing stations. I would love to go with Jason Clark on this one real quick and probably follow that with CHEDDAR. But let's talk. I'll walk you through it. Potential pitfalls. That you can see when you're planning out your 2018 back in 2017. I mean, sorry, when you were planning your 2017 back in 2016. What are these potential pitfalls that you could kind of see coming, Jason?
Well, the good news is we're in January. That's the best time to look ahead and look back to see what you did, to look forward to see what you want. Pitfalls, inefficiencies, employee issues, lack of employees, lack of transportation. Capital and credit is huge. We all have to buy this product with something. Your money, your parents' money, your credit card, IOUs, loans, I don't care how you're paying for it, you got to have money to buy this stuff. So get that stuff in line. So I would say get your finances and that stuff in line first. Of course, you may have to deal with insurance and other things like that, but get everything in line. I would start with your capital first and get that in line, because that will ultimately extend you for not only this year, but for years to come.
Okay. So you, when I think about getting your credit situation ready, like I think about you and I think of CHEDDAR like heavily, because you guys are all about gift cards and like getting that edge, that last edge on everything. You're the last guys to use a debit card, to use personal cash. You guys are always trying to, leverage as much as possible, so long as you pay the things off in a reasonable amount of time. Talk about the credit situation a little bit more, Jason.
What's a debit card?
Yeah, I knew it.
No, I mean, obviously, whether you've got poor credit or whatever, obviously, you got to build and get that, up to where you can take advantage of store promotions. So let's say you shop at Target, Toys R Us, Walmart, sign up for their free online.com membership, sign up for their apps for your cell phones, because they're going to send you unique codes and membership rewards, points or cashback. Do cashback portal sites, Honey, Ebates, Top Cashback, things like that. Get credit cards that are tailored for not only your credit situation, but for where you're trying to go. Do you like to travel? Do you want to take this hard work and all this spend, and you want to spend it go there? Or if you I just want the cash, look for the best cash back. But know your credit portfolio before you just go out and say, I want an Amazon Platinum because they have the best deal. Well, if you don't have really good credit, you're probably not going to get approved. So don't waste those hard inquiries. So put in the work of researching what is best tailored for your current credit situation, and then go after what you want.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I saw your post yesterday in the room. Was it yesterday or the day before, about how you broke down all the money that you spent and like the SPG points you got, and you kind of even went further and you're saying like, I have X amount of days I can spend in hotels now. you get all kinds of rewards for the way that you purchase things. You never actually use your personal cash or your debit card for anything. That's what I garnered from the entire post. Like,
yeah, I didn't. I didn't make one purchase this year on my personal card related for the business. Not one.
Yeah. So definitely incentives to find the perfect card for you, like he was saying. Cleaner, when it comes down to potential pitfalls, manpower, credit situation, echo in on that a little bit.
To me, anytime you see anyone who essentially claims their Q4 got derailed by, you know, their vehicle broke down, such and such equipment, such and such employee issue, such and such, to me, and I'm just being blunt, they failed. Because basically, the reason you don't hear me saying, oh, got derailed and such, I have van issues, I have printer issues, the thing is, I have a backup, I have a plan B and C for literally everything. Any single piece of equipment I possess, own, or need, or use, there's a plan if they break down. I have a shopping plan with an alternate plan for bad weather. We had Atlanta get iced out one day. It's just one of those. I basically look at everything I can predict, which again, you can't ever predict everything, but I have backups and plan Bs, and so yeah, I think it's really just about anticipating anything that could go wrong, and having a plan, having a backup, having something ready.
Right. Now, when it comes down to processing stations, you have a warehouse, correct, Jonathan?
I have a 2,000 square foot retail storefront. Typically speaking, like during Q4, about 80% of that just goes to sorting everything I bought, and the other 25% goes to 25% goes to actual prep. Because during Q4, you know, you're not doing a ton of like sticker removal and all that fancy stuff. It's more just a matter of getting it out the door.
Right. Jason, Jason, were you running it out of a garage like last year, or did you upgrade that a little bit?
I did. I took my 800,000 sales business out of a 1-bedroom studio townhouse, which was nice, where I worked in front of my TV and sold 25,000 items. And I moved into a larger house. So I did 2.2 million out of a 2-car garage. I'm a nobody, guys. Trust me, it can be done. Trust me. And to be honest, I had plenty of room to spare. We're just efficient. It came in, it went out. We did what we have to do. So anybody can do it out of your apartment or whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's a pain in the butt if you don't have a lot of room, but don't let your situation restrict you. You're just restricting yourself.
Got it. What did you binge watch while doing all these shipments? Tell us.
Nothing. I worked hard. I was very focused this year. I'd like to watch TV, that's for sure.
World War II documentaries for me every time.
Well, usually people listen to a podcast or they watch something on TV while they're doing the prepping and everything. So anyways, okay. Jameson.
A couple of actual failures. I just wanted, do you want me to cover a couple?
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Okay. So one was both one of my greatest successes and my greatest failures this fourth quarter, buying a van mid Q4. And it just became evident early on that we were going to do way more business than we thought we were going to be able to do. And, you know, because I was just kind of thinking, oh man, this would be awesome. And so I literally, we went down to a cargo van station, and I put a van on a credit card. I dropped 11 grand on a van, put it on a credit card, and bought it and filled it that day. So it was like the greatest victory, because that van more than paid for itself multiple times over. But then it also locked up $11,000 in capital. And so you know, obviously if I had known that at the time, that would have been one of the things. Easily buy it in August and get it paid off, or buy it in July and get it paid off if you've got a big purchase like that. And then my other biggest one that just paralyzed me, Amazon just rejected one of my credit cards or whatever. They just rejected one of my credit cards, held up a payout almost, and ended up being like a week basically in doing that. And so one of my plans for this next year is I'm just going to have one card that I don't source on. That's going to have all of my recurring bills, all my recurring things. So that way, if it does get, you know, and I'll make sure that that's completely up to date going into fourth quarter. So I'd have all my repricer bills, all my prep center stuff, all my recurring things on it, and as well as have that connected to my Amazon payout. So that way I don't risk, because I had at least a span of about 5 or 6 days when I timed it all for the payout. Payout didn't come. Had to wait, you know, another week basically to get that payout. So they were both capital things, and they were both things, you know, again, we ended up doing more than we were expecting to do. And so the van was both the greatest success and greatest failure, because it made us a ton of money and it also cost us money at the same time. So those are just kind of a couple of practical real world things as people are kind of looking to grow and expand. You want to make that jump. but try to make those jumps in a wise way and don't lose track of important things like making sure you get your Amazon payout on time, making sure you have your supplies in place before it starts.
Okay, your prep center looked like what, a 2-car garage as well?
We were a 3-car garage because we bought a home this summer and had a 3-car garage. So it was that, we really only used the 1-car garage side. So basically had a horseshoe table. So we functioned out of the space of the 2-car garage, and, other than sometimes storing boxes and other supplies when those would come in shipments.
Okay, Jameson, what was your shipping station looking like this year?
For Q4, I have my whole basement set up for all Amazon, and then my garage, and I have a couple of storage closets and stuff like that. So I have a really big area for doing Amazon and storing everything. So it worked out really, really well this year.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what percentage of your yearly sales do you think came from Q4? Craig Morris, you started in August, but what part of that 600 came from Q4?
It was the vast majority of it. I mean, I had a sales day in August where I had $0 in sales. Like, I literally sold nothing. we were done. Like, we moved. We sold through everything we possibly could before we moved in June. I started just garage selling in July. I met up with a guy who was selling toys on eBay who wanted out of it, and so I made a big purchase. First time I'd ever dropped like $4,000 at a garage sale. But we did, and we did really well with all that because it was just tons of stuff that was just, it was all bought some of those Imaginext Lion Den sets. They were huge. Bought 10 a piece, and I think I sold through all of them around 80 to 90 a piece. And so it was just kind of, we did that. But really, yeah, I mean, 80% I'm sure was October, November, December of our sales for the year. So
okay. Jameson, what part of Q4? I mean, what part of your money really came from Q4? So I hear some clicking in the background. If someone's clicking in the background, someone keeps clicking. I'm going to say it's Jameson. I already know it is, isn't it?
I was checking my Q4 sales actually.
Are you on AOL online? Are you in a chat room?
No.
Are you
the dial-up sound comes on.
I did half of my sales in Q4 for the year.
Half of your sales. Okay, cool.
Yeah, 315.
All right, Jason Clark, a lot of yours, right?
35.5%. I try to be pretty steady throughout the whole year.
That's pretty good, actually. And then Cleater, what about you?
Probably about 9. Let's see. So probably about 45% of them.
45% was in Q4. So yeah, Q4 is really, really big, obviously. Okay, let's talk about the execution portion. Although you can try to account for everything, evidently something always slips through the cracks and affects you and the business. It affects you and the business. So what's definitely one thing in 2017 you did not see coming? We'll go with Jason Clark on this. Something that, you prepared, but this one thing happened. You're like, oof, man, I didn't see that one coming, but that's okay.
Well, I thought I prepared. So I had brought in a couple of part-timers basically for Black Friday weekend, Thursday night all the way through Monday. So I think we had a total of 9 of us. And basically scheduling. So we had everybody go out and go all day and all night and prep, and then whatever. Basically, I didn't overlap well, and I had everybody work really long, and then basically everybody burned out at the end of 2 nights. I think we were up for 42 hours straight, and actually one of my key employees at one point at 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to say it was on a Saturday, Saturday morning, he basically lost his blank and started throwing apparel around because he had literally burned out. Although I had begged him to go home 4 hours earlier, we went out for the 5th round of shopping with our U-Haul. But he's like, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Well, he wasn't fine. So I just shut up and let him flame and burn out. And he literally stormed off and went home. And he just needed to sleep like the rest of us. So scheduling was the issue, and we'll do better next year.
Wow, it kind of reminds me of the whole Apple iPhone story where they put those nets outside of the windows and everything. Man, some people just start going crazy when they're when they're put up against a lot of work. So let's talk about yours, Jonathan Cleater, 2017, something that came and you didn't see it coming and it kind of hit you.
Well, if I ran into employees, just like Jason did, I put bars on all my windows, so I'm prepared. And then I keep cattle prod. But we did have a couple times where viruses hit and we would have everyone sick, and we would do this huge shopping spree. You know, we would spend $50,000 in a day, and it would all be there to prep, and then everyone would be sick. And so I had a couple times where like we were all prepping sick, and I was sending people home, and people were trying to come in, and it was a little dicey there 1 or 2 weekends, but we made it.
It's okay. You can blow your nose with bubble wrap. It's all good. Jameson.
That's disgusting.
I'm not sure why we had to go there, Chris. It sounds unnecessary.
Stop laughing, Jameson. That wasn't even funny.
Sorry.
Jameson does that. He just thinks that's what happens when you have a cold.
Jameson doesn't have tissues anywhere, man. He just has dunnage laying around. Jameson, something that came around in 2017, you didn't see it coming. What was it?
I would say this year I wasn't very big on taking care of my health and myself. So I started to burn out really bad during Q4 and just got really just like started to get sick. I was just not mentally prepared for Q4. I know last year, 2016, early 2017, I was really big on health and just dieting and just taking care of my body over the Amazon business, and it slowly kind of slipped away from that, and it started Amazon making, higher numbers on Amazon came first, and then I ended up just getting really burnt out like towards the end of Q4, and just there was a few days I just like lost it. I just couldn't even get out of bed. I just like stayed in bed and drank wine all day just to like try to like shut the engines down and relax. And
did you watch Sex and the City by any?
Stayed in bed and drunk wine all day. Can we just go rewind that a little bit? Unpack that. Like you said, did you watch Sex and the City, bro?
No, I actually watched Unsolved Mysteries, bro.
He looks like a Gossip Girl kind of guy. Anyway, Craig, something that unforeseen thing, 2017.
Well, the first thing was my dad decided to get married on Black Friday, and so that kind of threw a wrench in all of my Black Friday sourcing plans because blood is thicker than money, and so that's it's important stuff. But I mean, so we had to end up, or actually it was the Saturday of Black Friday weekend, but it totally changed the dynamic of everything that we were trying to do, because then our family Thanksgiving moved from Thursday lunchtime to Friday afternoon, and it took away a lot of that opportunity. I think the other thing that surprised me, I know surprised a lot of people, is at least on a lot of the toys, the spike never came. Traditionally, if you look back 3, 4, 5 years on a lot of toys, there was always a spike, and for a lot of toys, the spike was the first sale. It just was a steady downward slope from that point. And so I had hedged my bets enough on enough things that I was in good shape. But every part of the inside of me said the spike is coming. But as I kept looking at the data, it's like, it's not coming. It's time to sell. And so it kind of messes with your head when you do that. But I think that part, the way the market reacted to toys, and the way the sellers are on certain toys, not that there's not money to be made, because there is, but the way the market is changing during Q4, it's very dynamic, and it's a lot different now than what it was 4 years ago. It's just a different pattern, and you have to constantly adjust to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that quote you said, blood is thicker than money. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one, man. Let's talk about the basic necessities for, just probably a lot of beginners or intermediates that are watching this show right now. And let's talk about basic necessities to maybe surpass a simple goal of like 100K on Amazon, right? If someone wants to get to 100K on Amazon and they consider that a pretty big victory, what would that kind of look like? Would it be a solo operation? Is inventory lab needed? Would you, request the person probably get a bigger car than a mid-size car? I mean, is OA part of that whole thing, not just RA? Let's start with Jonathan Cleater. Like, take it back, 3 years when it was just you doing it. Like, would you suggest someone that's just trying to hit 100 or more for 2018? They're brand new with Amazon. Like, what does that kind of look like? What would you just tell them? Like, get this, get that, get this. What would you need?
I mean, you're saying if your goal is 100K in sales for the year?
Let's just say for Amazon. For someone that maybe it's just peeking out of the eBay window, going to Amazon just for a year and wants to try this thing out.
Well, I mean, obviously at that point, your capital is your big focus. So if you had access to a van is still really handy, because in my experience, the deals don't come a little here, a little there. It's more like a huge wave this day and then a huge wave that day. So having a van is always handy. But if you're having to maximize your capital, I mean, you could certainly do 100K a year in I think I could probably manage a 100K a year in like a Fiat, but it would be a pain. I think where you live is huge. If you live in close proximity to a lot of a major city, you can do it with a much smaller vehicle. Like for me, Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, Birmingham, all the major cities are 2 hours to 90 minutes away. So I got a caravan down there and caravan back because there's no second trips. But if you're close, you can do it. I think focusing more on just maximizing your capital has got to be the focus in the beginning. So inventory first until you realize not having a piece of equipment is actually costing you more money than you're making it on it. Okay.
Jason Clark, what would you say? Like, if someone wants to attack it as a solo operation, what would it kind of have to look like if you had to give 3 maybe, highlights? Vehicle would be one of them, right, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be pretty hamstring without one unless you live right next door to a big box store. I've actually got a guy a competitor of mine I'm friends with, who lives 2 blocks away from a very big shoe store. He has a car, but he decides to just buy. He's a bulk buyer, and he will just take back and forth bags and bags of shoes to his house. And I don't know why he does it, but he gets it done. But I would say for everybody is just realize that when you leave your job, your part-time job, maybe you're a stay-at-home dad or mom, or just got out of school and you want to try to be, an entrepreneur reseller, that understand that if you are leaving a job, that this is a job. So if you're leaving an 8-hour job, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I work for myself now. I can work whatever hours I want. And yes, you can. That's part of the thing but understand that you should probably still be working an 8-hour job. Meaning, don't trade 8 hours of work at your normal job thinking that you can just do 2 hours of work and you'll probably replace it. Is it possible? Absolutely. But I think a lot of people go in there thinking, it's going to be super easy. Put in the time. And if anything, I think if you talk to a lot of successful resellers, you'll realize that they will trade an 8-hour job for a 16-hour reselling job all day long because it's on their terms and they're able to build it. So in a couple of years, they can take that 16-hour workday and end up turning it into a 2-hour workday where everybody else is doing the work for them. So I would definitely do that. And of course, have a plan of attack, so know what you're doing when you leave the door in the morning. Just don't go randomly out and go, I'll just drive this way. Have a plan of attack. It take you 10, 15 minutes to figure out, okay, I think I want to go to these stores tomorrow or this side of town and try something new. So don't waste time just wandering.
Okay. So let's talk about that Jameson real quick. I know you upgraded your vehicle. Was it halfway through last year?
Yeah, halfway through last year, and I found out it wasn't big enough. I really regret getting the vehicle I got.
So you're a solo operation too, right?
Yeah, I am. So yeah.
So must-haves for someone that wants to do 100K, let's say on Amazon. Like, what would be a must-have? Like, okay, a good vehicle. What a couple other must-haves? Inventory lab. Would you suggest that one?
Yeah, inventory lab. I know when I did my first year or second year doing this, I did 200K, and I had a 2-door Cavalier, which they're a really small vehicle, and I had no clue what I was doing. I did have inventory lab at the time, and I think at the beginning of the year I might have only had $4 or $5 grand cash and no credit cards. So I mean, I would assume now it's a lot harder to do it. I think because obviously new sellers have all the restrictions and all the other red tape they've got to go through, as opposed to what we did when there was no competition and everything was wide open. But I mean, it's definitely doable. I mean, there's so much more information out there now than there was 3 years ago when all of us started. I mean, there's so many more videos and, people doing this that you could probably do just as well, networking with people. That's what I've done really well.
Okay. And then Morris, what about you? 100K solo operation, what does that kind of look like? What kind of tips would you give someone?
You've got to have a system in place to. One of my big ones, I would just start collecting piles of stuff, and I'd have a room full of stuff, and okay, it's time to put an Amazon shipment together. And at some point in time, it occurred to me, well, my money's tied up while my inventory is sitting here. And even early on, I got into a pattern of once a week I was going to ship out whatever I had. And when I was just kind of starting and new, because you've got to be flipping your capital every 2 weeks, especially if you're starting from limited capital or you're starting from credit cards. You got to be turning that money over on a regular basis. So you have to have a system in place that you're not just buying inventory and creating an Amazon death pile, because it's just a waste of your money. If you're buying it, it's good to sell. Get it sold now, and don't worry about whether or not it's going to go up $20 after you sell it. If it's profitable now, take the money, turn it, burn it, and every time you go out and source, you should be better than the last time you did.
Mm-hmm.
be able to turn that money faster into more money. So really a process in place to get stuff shipped out on a regular basis, whatever that is, and
Okay. I want to go to a question that's kind of interesting, and I know that it's probably very divided for all the people that are watching this that do participate in Amazon or any kind of Amazon FBA. So when you do most of your retail arbitrage, that means you physically or a team of who you've trained are physically in a store, buying stuff off shelves, putting it in carts, walking it out, the parking lot, putting it in vehicles. So let's think about it like that when you hear this next question. But how do you do most of your retail arbitrage? Is it under the radar, meaning it's discreet? You don't tell any employees what you do or what you're all about, or is it disclosed? Whereas you've met important people to get regular, and the regular sales staff, you're up ahead of all the deals. What's the right way to do it? How do you do it? Let's start with Craig Morris on this one. In 2017, which one did you adopt? Which model? Under the radar or disclosed?
we did disclosed, and under the vast majority of circumstances, it ended up opening up opportunities and get into stores 2 hours before they open. So I'm running checkout looking for Jameson to see if he's going to be in the parking lot. And so there's other certain circumstances where you probably shouldn't disclose. Yeah, there probably are. But if it only lends to your credibility if you're going to be open and honest and and just talk and explain what you're trying to do, how you're trying to help them. And I think that's the overall, in the vast majority of situations, I think it's the best policy.
Okay. Jameson, what about you? Did you go disclosed or did you go under the radar this year?
I always let them know that I'm reselling. Always. I've actually just had an issue with it the other day. On my way down to Louisiana, I had a Walmart employee just get pissed, and she was really rude, and she called the manager on me, and she was like trying to find something that I was doing illegal so she could kick me out, and she was just a complete. But yeah, I'm always honest. I just got a hookup near the Walmart by my house. I went in the other day, and I bought a couple of games for $20. And on my way out, I cracked a joke with one of the guys working at the counter. He's like, "Hey, you know what?" He's like, "I think we got some more of those in the back." And they brought out like 120 of this game for $20 each, and they were going for 50. And I was like, I would be willing to take them all if you give me a deal. And the manager came over and she's like, "We'll do $5 on them." And inside, I'm just like, "Yes!" I'm just like. And then they took my phone number down. I sat and talked with them for a little bit, and so now they have my phone number, and I'm going to go back there when I get back from this trip and check in and see if they have anything else, just so I can kind of keep that connection building. But just by being cool with people, being honest with people, it pays off in the long run, I think.
Yeah, must have been a really good joke. So Jason Clark, do you go under the radar or do you go with the disclosed route? I know what you do, but yeah, go ahead and tell people.
I usually go with full disclosure. I'm a relationship guy. I built up your relationships, and I've said this in the past. Never underestimate the power of knowing that a retail manager or their staff have sales goals 99% of the time. This can lead to them not losing their job, to getting promotions, to getting quarterly, monthly, yearly bonuses, and so on and so forth. So I'm not doing anything illegal. Obviously, if they don't want to sell me additional things, so to speak, I'm paying just like anybody else. I'm not stealing or anything like that. So be upfront. Let them know what you can do for them. Ask what you can do for them, and often they won't say that. So near the end of the month, often I will say, "Hey, do you need a little bit of a bump to get over the hump?" Meaning, I will spend money today legally, just like anybody else walking the door, if you need an extra $2,000 sale so they can make their quarterly goal, their monthly bonus or something. And often they'll say, "Yeah, we need 1,500. Can you do that?" I go, "No problem." And there's times I'll even buy stuff where it might not be as profitable as I'd want to get, but I'll do that for them, knowing that they're going to return the favor to me tenfold over. And this is why I have retail managers messaging me and calling me from multiple states, from here to the Midwest, is because I take care of them and they take care of me. But I'm not doing anything wrong. My money is good. I'm buying product just like anybody else who can walk in the door. You're just taking the power of that relationship and amplifying it.
Cool. Cleater, what about you? I know you go disclosed route, right?
I do. For me, I think the big thing is that there's 3 levels. You have there's most stores that don't care that I'm very upfront. I'm here to resell. I come in peace. There are stores that I'm there were stores in Q4 where I was 40% of their sales for the day. So they'll come out and they'll be like, hey, it's that guy. Can we get you anything? Are you good? You know, they're very positive. Then there's some stores like Target, I know they have anti-reseller policies. So I will be very upfront. I'm not like sneaking around the store, with my blonde wig on, trying to look like I'm not me. But because I do see a lot of resellers, they're just very shady in the way that they, like if you're shady in the way that you act, I mean, that's never going to be a win. So sometimes like Target, if I know that if I tell an employee I'm reselling, they are required by their job to stop me. I'll say things like, I shop for other people, which is of course completely true. So that gives them, they are not forced by their handbook to stop me. But most of the time I'm very upfront. I try not to be the person who's, holding my handful of fingerlings and hiding in a corner and trying to check out on the slide to go around purchase limits. I respect all purchase limits.
Only once.
Your problem, Jameson, is you were trying to sneak out with Lovabellas when you should have been sneaking out with fingerlings. But yeah, I'll put it to you this way. I have a Toys R Us district manager's cell phone number that I can text if I needed to. So I do have some good relationships there. I went out and spent over $300 at Chick-fil-A buying chicken nugget trays and taking them to my different stores. Just making those relationships. So, I mean, there is definitely some loyalty. I've had store managers tell me that they really am glad I'm not like those other resellers that are shady and get on their nerves, So it's all about balancing the relationship. But certainly don't give any store employee a burden that will make it challenging for him to do his job correctly.
Right. See, Jameson, you can learn from this. See, instead of cracking a weird joke, you can get Chick-fil-A, and then the next thing you have is the district manager's phone number.
I've got Cleater's mom's number.
Oh,
I'm good.
Oh no, that's the low point of the show. Oh no, Okay, must go.
Jameson's mom does love those nuggets.
Oh no. All right. Gosh, must get the train back on the track. All right, here I go. I'm gonna try hard. Okay, so let's talk about combat fatigue, maybe depression, a very, very serious matter when it deals with not only all resellers, right, eBay, whatever that you do. We all deal with certain bouts of depression. It just comes to all of us. How do you combat fatigue during those times of the year, like really hard times of the year where Jameson, was talking about, 2 days off and had to sit in bed, was sick and all that kind of stuff. But the grind definitely has drawbacks for everyone that really, really pushes against it. So let's start with Jason Clark on this because everyone's got them. How do you combat that, or how do you combat reseller depression?
Obviously, Chris, you're the epitome of health in your lifestyle since you were a teenager, I believe. So, as you know, exercise and eating well. But I think adding to that is delegating your work. If you have staff or maybe family that can help you delegating, get some of that stuff off your plate. Obviously, getting some more sleep or taking some naps in the middle of the day to power through a little bit longer. And then, of course, just taking some vacations, maybe a 3-day weekend in town or the next day over, just to go hang out at the beach or just do nothing, So those little power naps and 2-3 a week can really stretch you out for another 2 or 3 more weeks until you hit that next wall. So
yeah, you're right. 2 or 3 days just in a really good setting, really, really get you going again. I like that. That's a good one. Cleater, what about you? How do you combat fatigue or slight reseller depression in hard times of the year?
Well, I don't sit in bed and drink wine. I will throw that out there. But for me, the big thing is unless that's what Jameson's mom wants to do. But basically, I think the big thing for me is just, so in Q4 of 15, which I just started reselling, I did about 100K in sales, and then with my current business partner, and then we did about 500,000 in Q4 of 16, and then we did 900,000 this year. And yet every single Q4 we've worked less. And because of that, like this Q4 we did 900 in sales, but I took 2 to 3 days off every single week. There were a couple days we went hard, but we had days off. We had a lot of downtime. So basically I worked the same amount of hours that Craig Morris did. It's just I didn't have another job. So when he was at the church, I was, at home not drinking wine. But, so I had those days off. So overall, I didn't really run into that. For me, my depression comes when it's not Q4 and I don't have that, I'm during Q4. That's when I'm the happiest. So for me, it doesn't really bother me. Balance, so everything went pretty smooth.
Okay, good. Thank you for being honest. Jameson, what about you?
Let's see. Yeah, like I really like how Cleater, because I went to go see Cleater over the summer here, and he was like, showed me how his apartment is set up, the way his operation is set up, and I really like how he does his work and life balance, how he keeps them separate. And next year I do want to do that more, but as far as this year went, yeah, it was a mess. It was like the last 2 weeks of Q4, I set a goal of sending in 4,000 items in 14 days, and I ended up missing it by like 70 items, but I burnt myself out, and I was just complete zombie. I was a complete mess. I took many days off, and I still didn't recover. I was just completely emotionally just drained, and like I didn't even like look at my Amazon account for days, and I was just like just a wreck. Like I just was like didn't talk to anybody. I was just really quiet, and I definitely don't want to do that this coming year. I definitely want to have balance and learn to, like Cleater said, put the numbers in higher, but be able to work less and figure out how to do that this year. That's my main goal for 2018 is to work a little bit less.
You're going to visit Cleater again, Jameson?
Of course. I'm sure I'll see him this year.
Okay, cool.
My guest room is ready.
What did you say?
I said my guest room is ready for him.
Nice.
I've got it set up with a nice seashell theme, so it's very relaxing for his stressed out nerves.
Yes, you must have all, I don't know how many seasons are in Gossip Girl? You have to have all those ready too for him.
6. I mean, I don't know. I was pretty shocked when I found out who Gossip Girl was, but anyway, sorry, what?
So Craig, what about you? Combating fatigue and depression, how do you do it?
Well, I think one of the things that was interesting this year, because I had 2 jobs, actually the reselling was maybe less stressful than being a pastor. So it actually kind of was the relief, because there wasn't, in past years, there's kind of that financial pressure. I need this to pay the bills. This year I didn't. This year, everything that we were earning was all slush money. And I think that kind of made it a lot more fun. I think bringing a partner on to kind of help with some different things be good. But I think for us, we kept talking about our goals. And really, I noticed the fatigue more with my family this year. Like for me, I was energized. I was good. I was a lot more balanced in terms of total hours. And at the end of fourth quarter, like we sent our last shipment, I said, "Hey, family, it's good to be back." And my wife said, "It's good to have you back." And I think that's, I think that's an important thing to consider, with family. And I think that's one thing I would do next year, regardless. Is I'm going to, one of the things we did last year that I didn't do this year is I had a block day off every week, because we'd source 6 days a week. Well, this year I worked 5 days a week and I sourced 2, and there was nothing left. And I think my family definitely felt the fatigue more than me this year. So next year we're going to do it. If we're going to do it to the same level, for sure, I'd block a day off every week, because it's just, I don't know. That's how I believe we're designed to run as people. That's the pastor side of me. We're made to work 6 days and rest 1. And as soon as I start violating that principle, man, I feel it, and my family feels it and everything. So I think just even that day off can help too.
Yeah, no amount of money on Amazon is going to be worth your family suffering in any way. So I get what you're saying. So now we're going to go into the reflections part of this outline. We're going to go very, very fast on this. I'm going to say a question. I'm going to ask a question, and any one of you guys on the panel can choose to answer it, but not all the people on the panel. So here's the first question. We have 5 questions. How did you ultimately feel about the 2017 Amazon year? Whoever feels like answering that question, that's cool.
That feels like a Jason question. It's very open-ended, but I mean, it's one that allows for a lot of like positive uplifting, and that's just not me, but you got that down. So you rock it out, Jason.
Yeah, let's keep all the responses really brief, but let's go with Jason on this one. How do you ultimately feel about the 2017 Amazon year?
All goals are surpassed. I diversified more, and I reduced my risk. Next question.
Awesome. What do you think will change in 2018 on Amazon's side? Anybody want to take that one?
I think that just like in 2017, there will be more sellers. You'll have to be farther ahead of the curve. Not hiring employees and making a plan now, then I'm not going to listen to your complaints later, because it's just going to get harder, and you got to run faster than they do.
Got it. What will you do differently in 2018? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take this one. In 2018, Amazon is going to serve me, and I'm no longer going to serve Amazon. I'm done. I'm done I'm done being the servant of Amazon. Amazon's going to serve me, and the moment Amazon doesn't serve me or my family, I'm going to take a break from it. Like, it's no longer going to be something that I'm a slave to. It's going to be something that's going to be a servant and a tool for raising wealth, but not something that's going to enslave me or keep me away from my other life goals.
Awesome.
No longer kissing the ring of El Jefe.
Yeah.
What's the best part of selling on Amazon?
Unlimited potential.
Got it.
Money.
Freedom.
Money. Always the money.
What's the worst part about selling on Amazon?
Selling on Amazon.
It is so much better than working at Taco Bell that it's not even in the same category.
Did you ever used to work at Taco Bell, Jonathan? Yes or no?
I was a manager for them. I worked there over 2 years.
So this is vastly different than Taco Bell, I would assume.
My top pay was $10 an hour when I left.
Jeez.
Yes, this is vastly different.
Why did you leave?
I made more in one day in Q4 than I did in an entire year at Taco Bell at one point.
You could make more on Amazon with 10 Lovabellas sold at the right time.
Wow.
Low blow.
Anyways, Jameson, you know I love you. Okay, so for any beginner watching the show, this is the very last question. What parting advice would you give them in order to take their Amazon business to the very next level? We'll go real brief responses from all four of you guys. Craig Morris, lead it off real quick. For any beginner watching this show, what parting advice would you give them in order to take their Amazon business to the next level?
You've got to set that goal and strive for it. And because you don't know what's going to happen until you set the goal. But if you don't have the drive, you're not going to get there. So set your goal what you want it to be.
Cool. Jameson.
Sell on eBay. No, I'm kidding. Put in the work. I mean, that's all there is to it. Put in the work and you can get it done. It's plain and simple.
Okay. Jason Clark.
Do what 99% won't do. Create listings, sponsored ads, run PPC campaigns, fix listings that you're on. Just because other people are on them, you want people to find your listings, and ultimately that will create sales.
Okay. Awesome. And then Jonathan Cleater.
I gamed my business out in 2015 on a yellow legal pad, just saying I expect to buy this much and sell at this sell through. Have a cash flow plan so that you don't run out of money. Know how fast you have to dump in order to not run out of money. And also everyone who next Q4 is going to be like, I should have hired employees. I should have done this. Do that now. Plan now, prep now, prepare now. Because in Q4, when you have those excuses, I'm going to be like, well, I did tell you in January.
Cool. Well, it's a perfect way to end the show. I think this was a lot of fun. Definitely learned a couple things, and definitely always good to get in the Christmas time or the New Year's time back the all-star panel here that we saw last year. I want to say it was nearly the same exact panel. Honestly, I don't know if there was any different thing. Oh, we got Jason Clark saying the 1%. There we go. What'd you say, Craig Morris?
Four-time MVP.
Four-time MVP. That's right. He won the MVP today for December. We have a little contest in the green room that runs every month. So Craig Morris won the MVP, and I will get you your cash prize tomorrow morning. But yeah,
we all want to be Craig when we grow up.
Well, Jonathan, you've won it like a couple of times too. I think I know you've definitely won it
once. Yeah, I'm not cool enough to ever win it more than once.
Jason Clark has won it a couple times.
I'm still waiting for my cash prize from 2016. I'm still waiting for my $25.
You did not. You got invoiced that.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, bro, come on now. I have all the records.
Send him a Lovabella. Send him a Lovabella because that's what they're going to be worth next month. $25.
Wow.
Oh no. Anyway. So that's pretty much the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed, all this. Make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more about these guys, catch them in the green room. Do any of you guys have YouTube channels that you put content on a regular basis? No, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's what's cool about what Jason said. Like, we're all nobodies, right? You're not. No one's ever special, and these people down here, without any YouTube presence or anything, have created amazing lives for themselves with the power of Amazon. So that's a lot of fun. I hope you guys. I wish you guys a prosperous 2018. I'm pretty sure I'll cross paths with all of you guys at some point of the year. But till then, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you hit the like and leave a comment if you want. You can find these guys at the green room you can find them at the green room on a regular basis. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace out.